Alright, we're back. I recorded the maximum 15 minutes and I didn't realize it, and I talked for like 2 minutes before realizing it stopped recording. So I do believe I left off on wildfires. Wildfires can occur in the drier rural regions of the Philippines. And then while many are a result of human activity, the dry season can cause them as well. However, a lot of them do occur from accidental fires, things like that. So March is actually Fire Prevention Month in the Philippines, and so that's a way for the government to try and educate people on fire safety and whatnot. Um, so fire impacts geography by influencing vegetation growth directly, and it can be detrimental or beneficial to certain plants. It can be helpful once in a while because it kind of restarts the system a little bit and helps new plants to grow and take over. And then this is especially important in Alaska. I know the black spruce actually relies on wildfires to release its cones. So some plants will like it, some don't. Um, However, wildfire activity can actually cause decoupling in vegetation and thus fragmented landscapes, causing separations amongst species. Um, while this isn't usually a super huge issue because these species are already suffering from fragmentation due to human activities, adding fire activity to that is very detrimental. And if fires destroyed enough environments at once, most of the species would have a hard time bounding back. So climate change is going to potentially cause more severe fire activity in a lot of these areas, so we will see some impacts from that. And because the Philippines consist mostly of islands, extinctions are a real threat to the biodiversity of the areas. According to the general laws, species in danger of extinction have a small range and a scarce population. So, with over 7,000 small islands, the scarcity combined with human influence is the number one threat to these species. When you have a small, scarce population of species battling all the things that we've been talking about in this class, we have a lot of issues there. Um, and one example of that is the Tamaraw dwarf buffalo. It's located on one of the main islands. It's endemic, and it has a population of about 450. And I did pull up a couple examples as well. The Philippine eagle, who you guys have seen in most of my presentations, is a very important bird of prey to the Filipinos. It's very symbolic to them. However, it's also really endangered, and habitat fragmentation has an especially huge impact on this bird, with a population of about 250 over all the islands. So that's kind of sad. And lastly, we have the Mindoro crocodile. Um, this is a really small endemic species of crocodile, population estimated 100. So the ocean is an important resource for the Philippines. Ocean warming and acidification is contributing to the loss of coral reefs in the area. Not only are these biodiversity hotspots, but they're also important buffer zones for typhoons, which will become more intense with climate change. And then mangroves are also another example of this occurring. So they've been cut down and cleared for building purposes, maybe fuel purposes, but they're very important to the ecosystem and very important for protecting the islands from typhoons and storm surges. Um, so without these buffer zones, the storms can damage ecosystems and really displace many species. So protecting these reefs is important, and it is being done by decreasing pollution in the area, so doing trash pickup, things like that, and then also allowing buffer zones to do their job. So the Philippines are especially sensitive to climate change as a result of the loss of this biodiversity. So they're losing their protection, they're losing their resources. So the government is funding replanting projects and things like that. And then we have social ecological systems can be found in the Philippines in the form of rice paddies and other agricultural regions. This is pretty common throughout Southeast Asia. Rice paddies are they've been made or they've been cultivated for thousands of years, and so a lot of ecosystems have actually come to rely on them. They're homes to insects, lizards, fish, things like that. So it's very good for the ecosystem to kind of work alongside humans in that way. However, human modification is especially responsible to all of these impacts due to such a small area of islands with so many people living on them. So hopefully we can come to more conclusions on conservation efforts. I feel it's especially important in the Philippines because they're islands and everybody deserves to live there.